Yeah, I have no cards. I'll be like, yo, I fucking got this in the bag. If he plays one card, only one card in his deck, and then he fucking Yu-Gi-Oh's the one card.
Yep.
Like,
See,
believes in the heart.
He has all 5 pieces of
Yeah.
Exodia.
Yeah, he fucking Exodias me, and I'm just like, go from 30 to 0 in one hand. I'm like, how the fuck did he pull that one off?
Welcome to episode 46 of the Endless Backlog podcast. I am your host, Gagandeep Singh. Joining me today is Benjamin Minkoff.
Yo!
How's it going?
Here again.
Is it really good to be here again? Sorry.
Actually, I'd rather be playing Monster Hunter. But I make sacrifices.
At least if you had said The Wire, I would be happier. You just said I'd rather be playing a dumb Capcom game from the 1970s than fucking hang out with your buddies. You dick.
The 1970s.
Why? That's totally what Monster Hunter is.
At the same time, if you want to play Monster Hunter with me.
What? We're not playing a game during podcast time. You make too much noise while playing Monster Hunter. Anyway, also joining me is Christopher Compton.
I'd rather be watching The Wire.
See, now Chris says things that I can, like, at least appreciate, because I, too, would rather be watching The Wire, but work's gotta be done, Chris.
Yo, season 3?
More like all the seasons.
Allegedly, you like season 4 more, and that's the right answer.
Season 4 more.
But I prefer season 3 because Amsterdam.
And the second to last episode of that season. Yeah! It was so good, because that whole show is so good. Anyway, William Berger is here!
Yo, what it is, what it was, what it shall be.
I don't really know what it shall be. I mean, I know what it is, I know what it was, but I don't know what it shall be, you know? Like,
these are the great questions.
I mean, but like the other two, they get answered like almost right away. It's like the third one is like, takes time.
That's a scary one.
Yeah. Like, in our mind, this podcast will be like, yeah, this is gonna go well. And then like, 10 years from now, we go back, it's like, wow, that's the most racist podcast ever created.
That'd be your fault, though.
Mistakes were made.
I mean, let's be real. If any one of us was going to say something racist, Chris, it probably would be me.
It would probably be Kira.
It would probably be Al Josa, because he'd be like, oh, look, they're podcasting. He'd come in and like say some racist shit and then leave, because Al Josa.
Yeah, but then I can edit that out, but I'd feel obligated to keep it on some basic level. But whatever. And as stated by Chris, also here is Kira Sutherland.
All right.
And apparently Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Special guest appearance.
Anyway.
Why not?
I
would gladly do a podcast with Matthew McConaughey.
That would be fantastic.
He'd have a good radio voice.
He's got a great everything voice.
Mm-hmm.
Are you kidding?
It's very soothing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He can be, like, profound, funny, you know, racist, like, a total scumbag, a superhero,
a Lincoln car salesman.
From the South, from Europe. He could be Japanese if you wanted, I bet.
Could you imagine a Japanese Matthew McConaughey?
Be amazing.
Ben, what would Japanese Matthew McConaughey sound like?
That's a tough question.
I mean,
I don't know.
All those years of... I feel like if you don't know, no one would know, given your Japanese experience.
I'll have to look up some, like, True Detective Japanese dub and see what it sounds like.
Oh my god! Yes!
That would be so funny.
I'm sure it exists.
Oh man, I would watch the final scene of that show just to see how bad it sounds in Japanese. Because, like, it wasn't even a good group of lines in English that, and McConaughey had to carry it.
He did.
Because he had to carry a lot of lines on that show, but that one would be really rough in Japanese. Anyway, so we're back on our podcast grind. We're actually 2 weeks strong now. Technically,
yeah, kid.
Technically,
huzzah!
This is the only time we've ever done a podcast where we're recording before the last one's even, like, up.
Nah, I feel like we've done it before.
We've definitely done it before.
Like back-to-back podcasts.
Back in the day when we had a schedule, that was a good idea.
In the summer, when we all had no lives.
I mean, I guess. I feel like we didn't. But whatever, this is the first time we've done that in a while.
That's
Technically,
true.
it's edited and it's, like, uploaded on the back end. I just haven't, like, put it up. But whatever. As we said last week, since the video game industry, holy fuck, you need to stop typing.
I'm looking up Japanese True Detective.
This is...
Yeah, so, like, mute your microphone when you're gonna
Turn it off!
Alright.
What?
No more then. Okay.
What?
Sorry.
Who are you, me?
Ben has to go through growing pains again because we've got podcast rules.
I'm rusty at podcast.
One
Clearly.
extra hour.
Ben, I count on you to not be the rebel without a cause. The consistent, like, the constant in these podcasts.
The moral compass.
Okay.
Yeah. If our moral compass goes, like, you know, west, then we're fucked. It's supposed to point us north every time.
Okay.
True king.
I'm
Right?
focused now. I'm focused.
Anyway, God. Are you, though? Anyway, like I said last week, because, the video game industry refuses to not keep doing remasters. Like, we're gonna get port jobs of every fucking thing. Like, I'm waiting on when they give us HD remasters of Elder Scrolls Oblivion.
I'm pretty sure 80% of this gen so far has been remasters and ports.
I mean, I think 80% is a crazy-ass number that you just threw out there. But it's still significantly, like... Sleeping Dogs got a definitive edition. Like,
yeah.
what?
There's
Yeah.
I think the best Metacritic game of the generation is still, like, The Last of Us Remastered.
Yep.
The best game of the new generation?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Or it's the highest critically rated, at least, right now.
Test us, Gagan.
Oh, yeah.
What's
It's
higher?
The Last of Us.
Oh, I thought you said, like, is the best game, not, like, the rated the highest. Well, then rated the highest is The Last of Us. I'm not going to deny that.
That's a factual...
Yeah, that's a factual statement. There's objectivity there, but whatever. I think...
But, I mean, it's saying something about what this generation's been so far.
I mean, Phil did bring up a good point the other day. There's a good argument to be made that 3DS's best 3 games are Zelda games, and only one of them is a new game.
There's not a good argument. It's the truth.
I mean, I'm not super opposed to it, because Majora's Mask and Link Between Worlds are better than everything else on that system.
Well,
And I'd probably humor the idea of Ocarina of... Don't! Majora's Mask, you son of a bitch! I was like,
It's a
what?
gag reflex. What do you want from me?
Yeah, whatever. Fucking dick.
well,
So...
Ocarina and Majora's Mask are certainly a lot older than Watch Dogs and Last of Us, so I'm not so salty about those getting remade. Mastered.
Yeah, I just wish they were remade on,
they're,
like...
they're
like
yeah,
a
they're,
good system.
they're remastering Watch Dogs.
Didn't they?
Yep.
Did they tone down the suck?
Wait, seriously?
No. You're thinking of Sleeping Dogs. So
Oh,
you can't
Sleeping
remaster
Dogs.
a game.
No, I'm
that-
sorry.
Oh,
I was like,
excuse
wait a minute. Like,
Yeah.
did they release a not shitty version?
No, that game came out on next gens or
I was
this
like,
gen.
wait. I was like, is that what the gaming industry is about?
Yeah.
Year one, they released a bad version. Is 2015's game of the year the
Destiny.
yeah, Destiny, but good?
Yeah, Destiny
come on.
Pay
remastered.
$60.
Like, what do they do? Get a good developer to make that game? Like, what's up?
Whoa, easy there, Tiger.
Come on. I try to keep it out of the intro. It's not my fault that game came up.
On your own. Oh no, that was me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you did it, asshole. I was gonna roll with, like, fucking Butt Creed or something.
Butt Creed. Wow, just so much imagination.
You
I know.
Like, whatever.
Good lord.
Like, you know.
The Assassin's Creed HD collection.
But anyway, the point is, like, we can't get rid of them because they're gonna get made, and some of them do fund more interesting projects. Like, in theory, at least, it is keeping people employed, so I'm not looking at it as a bad thing. This podcast will be dedicated to, like, games we would want, first of all, remastered, as in, you know, up-res, brought back with, like, very little changes at most. Remade. Now, that difference specifically goes into the Metroid Zero Mission / Resident Evil remake brand of remake, as in, you remade the fucking game. Like, you took this thing and you made a better game out of it.
You didn't put Final Fantasy VII on the PlayStation 4 and call it a day.
Yeah, pretty much, exactly. And then the ending is just basically franchises that need to come back because, like, god damn it, some of these franchises have been dead way too long. And some of them are, like, made for this new era because, like, they were released in the wrong time frame, in my opinion. So, to start things off, Will, since you came up with the idea, what was, like, your thought process while you talk over that truck in the background?
I was just, I've been playing a lot of remasters lately, because like Majora's Mask came out recently, and I was playing that, and like, as a side about going through your backlog, like I've been going through my backlog. I started playing Star Fox 64 on the 3DS recently. I started playing Rogue Squadron again. Like, I'm playing a lot of these older games, and I'm thinking, like, man, it would be really awesome if, like, more games were, like, Majora's Mask or Star Fox 64 or whatever that got, like, a second chance at life and improved stuff and just, like, a shiny new coat of paint or came back because, some of them never do. So I was just thinking about, like, and specifically last year, like, Kira and I started playing Xenogears, so that was another thing, and then we were playing Wind Waker HD recently, so, like, most of what I've been playing has been, like, expansion, port, remaster, remake, re-release. So I just thought it would be fun to, like, round table it and be like, hey, like, if you could have anything, what would you want?
Okay.
Does anyone feel like there's an inherent positive to doing any one of these things? Like remaking or remastered? Like, Ben, do you see, like... Because you don't seem like the type that really buys the remasters or remakes. Unless you've never played the game.
Yeah, personally, I feel that way about most of the stuff. Like, I see a lot of times people, like, ask for, like, games from last gen to, like, be remade on the current consoles and stuff like that, and I don't really see the point of a lot of that stuff. To an extent, I guess.
But Bayonetta on PC would be amazing!
That'd be pretty cool. But do I need it? Like, that's, the thing. I mean, like, I haven't bought Revengeance on PC, even though I'm sure it's even better than it was on PS3. I mean, I think for, remakes, remasters especially, like, sometimes just, like, getting a game that, like, you can't get access to or didn't get much of an audience, giving it another chance. And so, like, games that have been kind of overlooked or, like, didn't kind of cult D game, seeing those get remade is something that I think is worthwhile. So, like,
yeah,
like the, like, Ico Shadow of the Colossus, like, that, HD remake, or, like, Zone of the Enders 2, I feel like stuff like that's worth doing. Something like Tomb Raider doesn't make a lot of sense to me. That seems just like a cash grab.
Tomb Raider, the definitive edition.
The definitive edition, yeah.
Like, the port job of the 360 PS3 game, not like...
As opposed to the remake Tomb Raider Anniversary Edition. Tomb Raider Anniversary Edition remake. That was really good.
Anniversary made that game playable.
It did.
Yeah. Took away some things, though. I don't know. Who wants to lead off? Who wants to lead with, like, the first, like please remaster this?
Mass Effect Trilogy.
And Chris, for your...
Like, way to lead, Chris, with, like, Ben did this whole thing about, like, oh, don't bring shit from last gen, and you lead.
You just had to do it, didn't you? Like,
Yo,
Ben, if you hadn't said anything, he wouldn't have brought it up. This is your fault.
Yo, listen up. I have a reason. Other than the fact that I just want to play Mass Effect Trilogy again. Okay. Because ideally...
If you got a reason, I'm okay with it.
Ideally, if Mass Effect 4 has all the decisions of the Mass Effect trilogy, then it's on one console. You don't have to do, like, some convoluted Dragon Age Tapestry bullshit to get all your decisions, and then they don't even fucking go in properly, like what happened with me in Inquisition. So, like, the whole series would once again be in one place.
But Chris, you assume...
I mean...
You assume that what you did in Mass Effect 1 through 3 will have any bearing on anything.
Yo, listen.
Oh, burn!
Snap.
Burn!
Burn!
I can dream.
Anyway.
But no, I just like the idea of a Mass Effect trilogy on Xbox One and PS4. I think that'd be cool. Plus, I think they've already, like, hinted at it a bunch of times, so it's basically like a done deal at this point.
So, like, would it have to be a remaster, but this time with an even slightly less shittier ending?
No, that's impossible. No, you're aiming too high. I think if they just included all the DLC, that would be pretty cool. Like, it's all just... If they make us pay for the DLC,
So, Chris,
it's not
here's
worth it.
hypothetical.
But if Leviathan's in there and Citadel's in there, totally worth.
Mass Effect Super Ultimate Franchise Edition.
Mass Effect 1 has to be remade. If it, like, that one has to be redone, in my opinion. Because, like,
That'd be cool.
Except they change the gunplay and make it not stats-based.
Yeah.
Stats-based isn't really the issue. It's just, like, the engine... I mean, I feel like that's... The real issue is just, like, it doesn't have good game feel across the board. Like, even when the stats are where you want them, it just never feels snug.
It's because Shepard controls...
Yeah, like, Shepard has been sluggish in all 3 games. Like, dude needs yoga. And, like, the game engine itself wasn't really that good. There was a lot of texture popping.
They need to fix the friendly AI, too.
Okay, so
really
full-on
bad in the
out-and-out
first game.
remake, because fuck that game. You can't just shiny it up.
Yeah, I think that... Yeah. I don't mind if they keep the stat-based nature of that game, because if you don't bring that way, I feel like you're taking away the essence of
But
what
we
that
already
game
did that with the
was.
next 2 games in the series, so who cares?
Yeah, but, like, again, like, part of the reason people call that their favorite one is, like, which I think is ridiculous, but whatever, is because it's stat-based. But, like, the sequels, they're fine on their own. Like, let them be the way they are. You know what I mean? It's like if you were remaking the Resident Evil games, you wouldn't suddenly make them play like Resident Evil 4, because it's like, well, now you're just pissing everyone off.
I want my goddamn tank controls in the original Resident Evil, damn it.
It makes the tension really, really intense.
I mean,
I want my Mako controls.
And to be fair, like, just looking at a gameplay level, like, if you did Resident Evil Remake with Resident Evil 4 controls and camera,
the game's not designed to support it.
Because the zombies wouldn't even be a threat.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now you could just hit them in the face all day.
Be like Metal Gear Twin
and
Snakes.
If Mass Effect 1, if Mass Effect 1, like, it wasn't that sophisticated of a stat RPG as it was, you give it, like, actual Gears of War styled combat all the way, like, go all the way with it, like, a lot of those enemies become even less interesting to fight. Like, if anything, you make the gameplay worse while improving that game. Whereas, like, Mass Effect 2 and 3, I thought did at least pretend to have enemies that fit that gameplay more. That's just my 2 cents, but...
I agree, and I think they should remake it, the whole thing, trilogy.
Honestly, I feel the animations need to be redone, too, because, like, part of the issue with how Mass Effect tells a story is that, like, it has some of
the cutscenes?
Cutscenes, or just how dialogue exchanges are, like, took this entire thing from Towers and Phil Fogg from Game Under, whatever, they can get all the credit they want, but, like, take a look at how Telltale handles, like, conversations. Like, they have a good eye for, like, cinematic language, because, like, like, someone will be talking, but you're watching the guy who's actually listening to everything, because you're seeing their reaction, right? Because, like, that's how movies do it, because it's, like, it's super stilted when somebody's talking and you're just hearing them talk, and then you go to the
Chris
next
is gonna get really mad for
and,
saying
like,
this.
just keep going back and forth while they're talking.
Mass Effect is
right?
It's
called
shot
the,
reverse shot. It is the prequels
the Star Wars
in terms of cinematography. Yeah.
I mean, in normal conversations,
I mean, what I mean by, like, and that's fair. Like, if we're really being honest, the people that have a good handle on, like, cinematic language come down to Rockstar, Telltale, and Naughty Dog.
Yeah.
Like, with any consistency, anyone else, I feel like they've never like, some of them are decent. Like, I mean, even BioWare knows how to, like, screen a really good shot here and there, but, like, with any consistency, it's those
Although
three.
BioWare
They're
has
good
their
at
moments.
it. Like,
the attack on
start
Earth
to
at the end of
finish
Mass
with their
Effect 3, that is a really well shot cutscene. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Attack on Earth is really good. The whole Tuchanka, like, rush is really crazy.
That moon for the Turian planet has just got a really good skybox.
Yep.
Good skybox is the
Paladin's moon,
And specifically how you first initially see the skybox.
You know who else is actually pretty decent at it?
During that, like, gameplay stretch. Yeah, we did get bogged down on the Mass Effect one. I was like, Chris, you got another one that isn't Mass Effect, or...
No, because they already remade Kingdom Hearts, so.
Yeah, what a mistake that was.
How dare you, sir?
Ben, you should go. Because I feel like you're against this, so I want to hear what you have to say.
In terms of remakes,
Or like
I'm
a series
thinking
coming
of-
back that's been
or
delayed.
remaster.
Aside from Phantom Dust.
I mean, in terms of like remakes, I could just think of Phantom Dust is a remake I want. Even a remaster,
On new
just
hardware.
like having the ability to play it again. Because especially like now, like, this is a good example. Like now, like Xbox, the original Xbox's online has been turned off, so you can't play Phantom Dust against people anymore, even if you want to, even if you have the game. So if it exists again, then you can experience the game as it's meant to be. It's a way of preserving it historically. I think that's an important thing.
I mean, honestly,
right.
a lot of
That's
the
right.
Xbox's like more multiplayer stuff could get that kind of treatment. Like Halo 2, for instance, should probably get a remaster that lets you play it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff like
I
that.
don't know. Phantom Dust, do you think like it'd be cool to like have that game back, but like do you think like I mean that game barely sold at $20.
Well, yeah, but like just goes on Matt's
You know what I mean? Like
time. It doesn't mean the game's bad.
yeah. But do you think like I'm not saying it wouldn't I'm not saying the game isn't bad. I'm saying like because of its multiplayer centric nature, you kind of do need a community to be there,
Kinda
right?
do.
You know what I mean? Like Anarchy Reigns is a cool little multiplayer experiment, but like I mean, it's barely a game at this point because it's a ghost town for the most part. Where, like, I'm saying, like, if they brought back Phantom Dust, like, do you think, like, any of the communities would sort of get attached to
as
it?
long as you have like a small enough
they
core
obviously
that
couldn't
keeps
release
playing,
it as a $60 game.
as long as you have like a core that keeps playing, then it's
Yeah.
not.
You know,
it'll, like,
yeah, if there's a dedicated
it should
group,
be
like,
okay.
you know, it, like,
we have-
when, I'll use Halo Wars as an
Yeah.
example. That game wasn't, like, stupidly popular, but, like, even when it went down, like, down in population a few years later, like, they still had, like, a pretty regular group of people sitting in, like, a couple thousands. You could still get matches. And, you know, you didn't know any better that, like, hey, there's nobody playing this relatively.
yeah, exactly.
So.
Another game I'd like to see
Ooh,
remade
good choice.
is Freedom Fighters,
Ooh.
or remastered. Even I think Freedom Fighters is a really cool game. It's if even a friend like. I think there's a lot of interesting things that, like, I really like the whole squad mechanics of it, and there actually haven't been a lot of other games like it. Like using, like, having a group to command and moving them around and using them to, like, get the drop on enemies and making counters easier. There haven't been a lot of other games like that have been, like, as sort of arcadey and not, like, super simmy. And I think bringing that back, if it could get some kind of audience, could lead to more of that kind of game. And I think that would be a good thing. I don't know if it would do that well, but
Reminds me of maybe Brothers in Arms might be good getting a remaster, like the original 2.
On the consoles? I don't know.
Road to Hell 30.
I really hate Road to Hell 30 on a gamepad.
You do?
Yeah, like Road to Hell 30, like the first one. Like I think that one is like great on a PC.
Yeah.
But playing that game on a gamepad, I just thought it was kind of gross. But I don't know. That's my whatever PC elitism. But
Yeah, you elitist.
yeah, whatever. Not apologizing. But I don't know. Road to Hell 30 is a good game. It would be interesting to see that type of game. But I don't know. At that point, I feel like, you know, we're already getting so many cover shooters, and not that, like, Road to Hell 30 didn't have more sophisticated elements. Like, it did way more interesting things with its squad mechanics than, like, shit like Rainbow Six Vegas and Mass Effect, for instance. But, you know, I feel like it would feel like, oh, it's another one of those to a lot of people. Whereas, like, Freedom Fighters, I feel like I'm with Ben, like, that is such a different game from how games are being done now that, like, it would be interesting to see how, because I bet like you would have an audience that just goes like, you know, I just want to play something like that. Like Time Splitters, I feel like in this new era, if that got remade, remastered or whatever, would get new life just because like people are so fucking
military
tired
shooters,
Of simmy
like,
shit.
of simmy shit or like super serious games. Really just the serious nature of modern first-person shooters. Like, half the reason it was so fun to at least hear that Duke Nukem was coming back was like, I want a meathead dumb shooter that's like openly meathead.
I'm definitely
and
pro
not like
meathead in this
Gears
regard.
of War, which started meathead and then it took itself seriously. Yeah.
Yeah, you were talking earlier about games that came out at the wrong time. I feel like Time Splitters was one of those. Like, because the industry took it was a lot more lighthearted, that it wasn't as kind of unique.
Yeah, at that time, so many things were lighthearted.
Yeah.
Like,
People would love the online.
I'd hope so, at least.
exactly.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. If you shitty people do not like Cortez from Time Splitters when he says stupid shit like, it's time to split, and everyone just goes blank face and like,
Oh, Cortez.
really, guys? Really?
That was amazing.
Oh my god. I love the part with him and the other chick when they're about to take the elevator. It's like, time to split. It's just like, I'll take the next one. And you just see that, you just see the sad look on his face, like he just humiliated himself. So good.
Aw.
So
He's-
endearing.
He's just
And
waiting
really-
for someone to laugh.
And really, like, I was looking at that scene, I'm like, man, we've got so many, like, more detailed graphics engines, but, like, his reaction had, like, so much, like, personality behind it. Like, I bought that, like, reaction way more than, like, these super, like, realistic-looking games, and it's, like, it's just, like, a fucking puppet when I'm looking at it. I don't know.
It's the uncanny valley effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like close, but just off that it gives you nightmares.
Yeah. So, William, I expect another answer from you because the obvious one is the one I'm not letting you have. Xenogears deserves to be remade, specifically so Disc 2 isn't the steaming pile of shit that it is.
You're goddamn right.
I'm not even saying it as someone who has played the game. Everything I know about Disc 2 is hearsay. I am just saying that, like, that's probably a game that deserves remake status as opposed to remaster status because Disc 2 probably isn't the game they want.
Yeah, it's like,
Well,
we're going to tell you
Disc
the story,
2
and
is
then you're going to fight
Land
a
of
boss,
the
and then we're going to show you
Sid
this
and
really
Harry.
awesome section that you probably would have
Yeah.
loved to play, and then you're going to fight a boss, and then, yeah. It's basically like 15 boss battles in a row. It's cool, because the fights are fun, but it's like, damn. But, you know, I have a bunch, actually, because I was thinking about this. Well, I'm glad you said it.
Yeah, but I was making sure Xenogears was getting taken out right away. I was like, whoa, okay. Like, I understand. I'm with you on that one. That probably... I acknowledge the love for that game to say,
Yeah, you
that
know,
game, if it gets done, remastering is bullshit. Like, that game deserves a remake. The only shitty part is Square would be doing it and not Monolith.
At this point, Square and Nintendo should just get together and be like, look, take our IPs and do
they
something
really
with
should.
them,
Like,
because
it's powerful
fuck,
enough
we don't know
to
the
do
fuck
what
we're
they
doing.
want to do. Like, it would sell if, like, because, you know, Xenoblade sold. People are in for that kind of... Anyway, they should really do it. But I was thinking, and Goggin, you and I were having a discussion about this last week, Twilight Princess. I'd really love to see a remaster of Twilight Princess. Maybe not a remake of Twilight Princess. Like, they could maybe trim the game a little bit, like the way they did with Wind Waker HD, like the opening section, but like not to the extent that I think it needs to be full-on remade, but I would love a remaster of Twilight Princess.
I'd be closer to remake one on that one, and here's why. I think, first and foremost, that wolf needs to be cut down in almost like every possible way, because he feels like some BS scenario they came up for their plot and not without thinking how it would impact gameplay. Because the thing they came up with gameplay, though, is like completely lame and artificial.
Twilight
and padding
Princess is
half
in
the
this
time,
weird
though.
place, right? Where it's like, it's clearly like inspired by Ocarina of Time, right? So what's...
Inspired is putting it loosely. I think really it's trying to be Ocarina of Time too.
So I think the reason the wolf exists is because they were going for that same feeling of like, hey, you've got these two separate parts of the character, and they're going to go do different things and change the world.
Yeah, but like catching light bugs was super lame. So they could cut that down for starters. Like cut that shit the way the fuck down. In fact, like entire stretches of that opening need to be completely redone because at this point, the last two Zelda games that have come out on consoles are obnoxious about the way they start. Because it's cutscenes for days. They take forever to give you a sword. They give you a tutorial on everything. And it's not like, here's what this button does tutorial. It's like, it makes you go through the nauseating process of doing the motion again, saying, do you get it? Do this motion one more time, and then we'll move on to the next small little incremental mechanic that you probably know because you played enough Zelda games at that point in your life to know how this shit works, but that's besides the point. It should be built for a gamepad, because the motion, like, they're fine. They make the bow and arrow stuff cool. The rest of the combat. The other thing is, like, the dungeons are, the one thing I've always said is, like, Twilight Princess should have had the best Zelda combat, but it doesn't, because all the, like, Twilight Princess has the thing where you unlock so many different moves by learning it from, like, this, like, skeleton man thing that a lot of people say is Ocarina Link, which makes sense, because I think, what was it, in the first game, they tell you, like, people who go in this forest are going to become Skull Tullas or whatever the fuck. I don't remember their names. Anyway, and those moves are great. They're interesting. They give Zelda's combat, like, a little bit more, like, it gives Link a few more tricks than just basically whacking at the enemies. The problem is, because they were optional, all the enemies in the dungeons are built around the most basic attack working, because in theory, you might not have that trick. So those tricks become useless. It's just because you have the move doesn't mean the combat's made deeper. You need to have something that makes you use those things. And in Twilight Princess, I would want enemies specifically made for me to use those tricks. Like, that would be another one. So maybe remake's the wrong word in this case. It probably is more remastering, but there would be, as you say, it trimming some of the fat off that game.
Got another couple good ones, though. Does anybody remember Armed and Dangerous on the Xbox?
I remember.
Armed and Dangerous.
The name is familiar.
I remember the name sounds familiar.
It was made by the Kabuto developers.
Yes.
And Kabuto.
And
it had a bunch of weird guns.
One of those guns was, you shot a shark, and the shark would come up, go into the ground and come up below people and eat them. It was great. It had a bunch of, like, weird shit like that. I would love to have, like, a revival of Armed and Dangerous, or, like, a remake of Armed and Dangerous, or a remastering of Armed and... I like that game. It has a shark. It has a shark gun. It has a gas grenade that, like,
or anything. Simply on principle.
Turns enemies against each other. It has a gun that, like, reverses gravity. It has, like, a black hole cannon. Like, it's great. It has all these ridiculous guns and jetpacks. And yeah, Armed and Dangerous is really good. And then, one more before I let somebody else go. I want another Power Stone. I really, really want another Power Stone. I don't even care if it's, like, a high-def Power Stone 1 and 2, or Power Stone 3. Please, Capcom, make Power Stone 3. I really want another Power Stone, and it's, like, inconceivable to me that this game doesn't exist.
In a world where, like, Smash Brothers is killing it, and I get that Power Stone doesn't have Mario, Link, Zelda, all those iconic characters, but, like...
Exactly, because, like, here's a game that, like, does the things that you like about Smash. It has crazy items and crazy characters, but it's in 3D, and you get super powerful versions of your characters that you can, like, nuke the stage with. Like, what? Why would you... There's a dude that, like, is basically Goku, and then there's this chick that turns into a, like, magic carpet genie and flies around and sets people on fire. Like, what is not to like about this game? Like, Power Stone is so good. Like, even if it was just a remastering of the first two games, which they put on the frickin' PSP and not, like, on a real system. And I own that game, by the way.
I hate when they do that. No, I am with you on that one. Stop fucking porting cool games to non-systems.
Majora's Mask doesn't belong on that system. Why did you do this to me? This is a betrayal of the highest order.
They wanted to sell some fancy 3DSs. That's what.
I'm weird because I'm lucky in that, like, a lot of the games that I really like have gotten remasters and remakes. That old joke, like, if I start playing it, it'll get remastered. It's kind of true. You know, Wind Waker. Oh, hey, look, there's a remaster. Oh, hey, look, Star Fox 64, like, Ocarina, Majora's Mask, like, all these games.
Must be nice.
Jack, the Devil May Cry games, like, it just goes on and on and on and on. But, like, I think Power Stone would be like that. If I could pick one and, like, be like, this will happen, it would be Power Stone. Or a new Power Stone game. What about you, Gagan? What do you want to come back from the dead or see like shiny new paint?
I want remastered things of like. Really, I want like games that were super rare and got lost in a sea of like these super popular games. Like Metal Storm is the one I keep like coming back to for like NES era. It's like this weird little like you get shot one time, you're dead. The enemies get shot one time, they're dead. It's this cute little mech robot thing who's got like this adorable ass animation, but the game's hard as fuck, right? And it's like when you actually like play the game, it's got like such a great feel. The levels are interesting. You walk through the level upside down sometimes. Like the whole point of that game is using that little gravity mechanic to like essentially get from point A to point B and fight like the super cool bosses. Right? And it's like a lot, like how many side-scrolling games have we gotten since the indie scene came up? How many of them are now Contra knockoffs? And how many of them are literally, like, when I say Contra knockoffs, I mean, like, they are poor man's Contra. Like, Broforce is the coolest thing anyone has done. Broforce and Super Time Force are the coolest things anyone's done with, like, the base Contra game. But they're, like, exceptions. Whereas, like, here's this game that did this during the NES era, and it got completely, like, overshadowed. Some would say rightfully so, because it is the generation with the original Legend of Zelda, Mega Man, Contra, all these like all-time classics, right? Yeah. Fuck off. And just like things that were like not brought over to this country because some companies were shit. Like, for instance, maybe Mother 3 can finally get something that cool. resembles an American release. Maybe, like, Terranigma gets a bit of a comeback, because that's supposed to be, like, one of those really cool JRPGs of yesteryear that, maybe, from my understanding, was super rare when it came out.
Maybe Metal Wolf Chaos.
How the fuck? No. Let's focus on that. How the fuck is that game not in America? I don't care about the other countries that they're not coming. That game is about the American president saving the world by getting into a mech. It is like someone at From Software decided let's make the most American game.
What I've heard is that they're really
and then like let's only release it in Japan.
What I've heard is that apparently From Software is really worried that American people will be offended by it.
What? Have they seen Expendables?
I've seen posts from like Vic Ireland, who's like the working designs guy. He says like I've been trying to convince From Software to bring it over for years. And they won't listen to me.
There's just like one guy. You gotta do it, man.
Don't put the time out. They think wait. They think that a country that made Bad Boys 2 millions of dollars, that made Transformers millions of dollars, that made Saints Row the Third and Grand Theft Auto when they were like big, silly, and stupid millions of dollars, would not be into the American president saves our country and the world by getting into a mech.
They need to remaster it to have Barack Obama.
Oh my god,
yeah,
Barack Obama be voice acting for that game.
Nah, if they were gonna do it, they'd have to like set it in like the early 2000s and get George Bush to do the voice acting.
That is brilliant.
It's already
horrifying. Oh my god.
Oh man, I would be so... Oh. Wait, yeah. No, time out. He would instantly go from this hilariously awful president...
I mean, the game is a satire of, like, that era of American politics, so it would be almost too fitting.
Oh, that would be so good.
Oh, you know what game I want a remake of? I want a remake of a bad game with a lot of potential. I want a remake of Daikatana. Because the ideas in that game are cool as hell. They just don't work very well. I know,
and a lot
right?
Of those have been
look at Shadow Warrior.
You know?
Yeah.
Like,
well, and like
companion AI.
And like the way that the sword works, like Shadow Warrior. Like all that stuff has been done. And like the ideas in Daikatana are really cool.
Yeah.
And it would be awesome if that game like was not bad.
It'd be cool if John Romero came back and actually just made a good game, because he did go out making some shit. Like, that joke El Josa makes about Shinji Mikami falling off a cliff is exactly what happened to John Romero. Because he literally did. He made Doom 1, he made Quake, and then he made Daikatana, and then everyone else at Ion Storm made good games except for him.
Well, he worked on those games, so...
Not really. He didn't work on...
He worked on Deus Ex, yeah.
Nuh-uh. He was nothing on that.
Teams.
Zero credits on that game, man. Zero credits on that one, and Anachronox. Yeah,
they had separate teams, but after Daikatana released, they brought the Daikatana team over to work on Deus
hold on.
Ex.
First of all, he's the owner of the place, so like if they were doing credits and he did work on it, his name would be on the credits. He's not even there. He's not there for Anachronox. He's not there for...
He is there on Anachronox.
Is he?
He is.
Well, yeah, as the producer. But like, director, like that was, what was it, Tom Hall's game?
Tom Hall, yeah.
Yeah. And then like, War Inspector's Deus Ex, and then... What's the strategy game they made? Dominion? Or whatever?
Dominion was bad, though.
Was it, though?
It was.
That was well received. Right.
No, Dominion was bad.
Okay, so him and whoever made Dominion are the people that made the shitty games at Ion Storm.
Dominion
so it's like,
actually...
It's a bad run to go out on. Like, realistically speaking, like, you went from making Doom 1... The best Doom is the one where all the level design is by American McGee and Sandy Patterson. You were the programmer, and then, like, Quake is big, but the best Quake wasn't you, and then Daikatana sucks. Like, John Romero is, in a lot of ways, the father of the FPS, him and Tom Hall. It's like, Tom Hall's, like, resume isn't tainted with Daikatana. You know what I mean? Like, I think John Romero, like, I want John Romero back. Like, Daikatana needed to happen because he got a little full of himself, and he pulled an Icarus and flew too close to the sun, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, he crashed and burned on that one, and that's great. Now that he's been humbled, I want John Romero because, like, I'm tired of some of these vanilla developers.
I would really love to see John Romero come back and do some work. I think that would be cool. I think he's still got, like, design chops. Because I just remembered, I'm like, the last final games he made were, like, shitty games with Midway. Like, Area 51 and Gauntlet. He went out making Gauntlet. Like, that's a bad series, and he made the worst one of a bad series. Probably not Order's fault, because the budgets on Midway games had to be, like, $5. He had no money, yeah, like...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't care how good you are, you're probably not making many good games at $5.
Area 51 actually wasn't terrible. It was alright.
I mean, you say that, but then you forget how many FPS
it's not Pariah.
I still don't think it's terrible.
FPS.
I think it's okay. Yeah, it's not Pariah. Like, come on.
Pariah is like a 1 out of 10. Area of Black 51 would still be a solid 3.
Yeah, Area 51.
No, just Area 51. Area 51 is actually a fairly solid game.
Blackside is bad.
It just had no budget. Blackside Area 51 is what you're thinking of. That game is bad.
Yeah.
Area 51...
Well, still, come on, man. That's like John... Yeah, the point is, the guy who made Doom went out on Area 51.
Yeah, and then he made a Facebook game.
Yeah, and then he made a Facebook game.
Which was good,
Evil Within, if that was Shinji Mikami's last game, would still be a massive drop-off from Resident Evil 4, but it's a good game. Finish. Yeah. Whereas if he ended his career on Piano 3, that's like, what the fuck happened? I love picking on Bungie as much as the next guy, but I don't want to see them go out on Destiny. Like, go out
Bring
on,
back
like,
Myth.
Halo 70 or something. Fuck. Like Gooch. Yeah.
I don't know. I would really love to happen, because he went to...
Anyway, hold on. Oh, wait, you're talking about Romero again?
I'm talking about Romero. He went to Square a while ago, because Square owns the rights to Daikatana now. And he was having discussions with them, because I follow him on Facebook. And he posts a lot of cool shit on Facebook. Anyway, he went and like did a bunch of meetings with Square after they had acquired the rights. So my thought is, like, Square, like, hire John Romero, give him a team, let them work for Eidos, and remake Daikatana, please. And give him funding.
All right, because they own all the Ion Storm IPs.
Yeah, they do. And the
fuck hasn't Square done anything with the Necronox?
They're actually going to do something. They just opened up, like, community suggestions for it.
But it shouldn't even be, like, an Eidos theme. Like, a Necronox, for the uneducated, is essentially a Western-made JRPG.
And it's really good.
And it's absurdly good.
Tom Hall was an amazing game designer.
And Tom Hall's awesome, and it's like, gee, I wonder what the fuck people know Square Enix for. Clearly action games and not Japanese role-playing games of any kind that might be popular and iconic and all that shit. Oh, wait a minute. So, let's add Anachronox to that long list of fucking things that we're adding. PC games in general, like, specifically, like, the ones that don't have, and I guess this is the hard part, but, like, there's this, like, whole worry of this entire era of games not having, like, source codes. Like, Blood is, like, the super cool Doom clone from Monolith in an era where there were, like, a lot of good Doom clones, you know, unless you were settling for, like, this really poor one on the Mac made by a subpar developer. No, I don't want to focus on that part. But, like, from my understanding, like, no one can, like, report for modern PCs for it, like, to have it work on Windows 8 without having to go through some bullshit just to make it work, right?
Wait, what game are we talking about?
Like,
I'm sorry.
Blood.
Oh, Blood, right.
Yeah. Like, Rise of the Triad was such a hassle, apparently, and, like, System Shock 2 was easy, but apparently System Shock 1 is
a mess.
Is a mess to get to work on the thing, to the point where you have to install a mod, because apparently the controls were really just stupid, to make it so you can aim with a mouse. A fucking FPS.
Yeah.
Like, oof. Anyway, it's like, a lot of things Black Isle makes probably deserve, like, better engines. Cause
yeah, like,
those
speaking
games
of interface changes, Planescape.
Doesn't need an interface change, it's perfectly fine.
I can't get through the first hour of that game.
I mean, I'm not saying that game is fun. I'm just saying...
That game's 16 years old, Ben. You're gonna have to, like, readjust a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
again,
there's
the
quality
combat
of life
counter, I don't
changes.
know what to do.
Okay. There's quality of life changes that game could do with its presentation at this point. Like, I think the notion that Morrowind is unplayable is ridiculous to some extent. And whatever, I don't think it's wrong to point out that the game engine is buggy still, and that the combat is, like, hilariously bad. But, like, the things I would want to change are, like, the dialogue being in, like, this giant wiki box, for instance. Like, we now have more elegant ways to present people talking than wiki boxes, so maybe that could be changed in an updated version of which, whatever, that game has mods out the ass to, like, fix that shit. But, I don't know. Like, there's just a lot of PC games I feel like they were so sophisticated, but, like, they came out before the tech was ready for them.
Sophisticated at the time.
Like, that was... Yeah. Some of them are still really sophisticated. Like, they were not sophisticated in the sense that they work, but
very true,
sophisticated in the sense of what they tried to do. Too, still, I mean, I think that game still holds up, but, like, the things Deus Ex was doing then, nothing's really, like, messed with Deus Ex still. In terms of, like, how many options that game had. It's janky, don't get me wrong. Like, for the people that bitch at Human Revolution, it's stiff, it's awkward to shoot. Go play Deus Ex if that bothers you. You'll appreciate Human Revolution. And then, like, again, for anyone that thinks Skyrim has, like, some stiff combat, I'm not gonna disagree with you. I am just saying, at least that shit connects. Because in Morrowind, half the time it doesn't connect.
Yeah.
And that's that way in Thief, and Thief is still a brilliant stealth game. Like, the beauty of that game aging is that because it's a stealth game, sometimes you don't even need to touch the enemies, that, like, you can get over that shit. But, like, it's still a drawback that could be fixed under newer engines. So, like, I wish those type of games were getting redone, because, like, those type of games would benefit so much from newer hardware. And, like, suddenly what's old would get, like, new life, and, like, it would be like, the gaming equivalent of, like, what the Criterion Collection is.
Yeah.
Like, why the fuck doesn't gaming have something like that? Like, in theory, Virtual Console was supposed to be that, but what Virtual Console ended up being was, Nintendo's greatest hits are being sold again, because you needed to be reminded that Super Metroid is excellent, except Jeremy Parish has wrote about that game 10,000 times, and there's, like, 20 different ways to play that game. And Link to the Past is clearly fucking
we
excellent
need
and
to,
holds
like,
up on like the Game Boy.
Start preserving the games that we do have.
I mean, nowadays I think they're better about it. Like, I think like most of PS2 era forward is going to be better about it.
With the exception
like
of Capcom, who doesn't have any of the development assets from the original remake of Resident Evil.
Yeah, but it's like the PC stuff again from the '90s is like a disaster to find. Like from my understanding, a lot of why id's games were so easy to do were just because like specific like people of the team had their own code still in the house. Like they just wouldn't get rid of it. That's a hog up all the time. So, franchise that needs to make a comeback is Otogi.
Yes,
like
Otogi's cool.
From Software is cool. I believe that they're capable of doing things other than the Souls games because at one point they made Otogi, and Otogi has like the super cool combat engine that's built around, first of all, around destructible environments and like air game. Like that part where you juggle people up in DMC, that's Otogi, just that though. The ground stuff's the lame stuff. Fuck the ground. It's great. It's a big comeback.
Okay.
Kira.
From
This PS2 game that I love that is probably never ever going to get a sequel or remade. Sphinx and the Cursed Mummy. It is so much fun. You have two characters.
So underappreciated.
It is. So you have two characters. One guy is like your combat platforming, usual video game stuff, and the other is the mummy. Mummy is dead, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So his gameplay segments are basically just giant puzzles. But you can set him on fire, you can electrocute him, you can squash him so he can get through bars, and basically you have to use all of like these things to make him solve the puzzle. And it's brilliant the way that they do it. It has this really cool ancient Egypt setting, and it's delightful. It's delightful. I wish more people knew about it and had played it, because that could be something really awesome on this current gen.
Jumping on games that would seriously benefit from a remake, Goggin, this is for you. Ninja Gaiden 2.
I mean, anything short of Itagaki gets to redo
but like Itagaki gets funding and gets to redo this game and make it the way he wanted to.
And makes the greatest action game of all time that game was destined to be, I'm all for it. But, the problem is, that one's a little bit harder, because now it's like, yeah, Shinji Mikami gets to do Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6. Oh, wait, he doesn't want to work there, though. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like...
Yeah, it's like, Itagaki left Tecmo because they were stiffing him on his bonuses.
Yeah. I'm not cool with...
There's some bad
Who says he has to work for Tecmo?
We're talking fantasy stuff anyways.
I mean, they're gonna...
They own the
franchise.
franchise!
It's fantasy.
Hey, listen. I'm just saying, me and Ben are so pro Itagaki that we're gonna be like, fuck Tecmo. I ain't buying Dead or Alive 5. That looks like a fun
That's
game.
loyalty.
Dead or Alive 5 is really good.
We're done.
I am loyal to the coolest game developer of all time. Because that guy's the man.
That was third, pre-ordered twice.
If we can fantasize a bit, the Ninja Gaiden 2 that was supposed to come out, if that game got remade the way it should, and not bullshit Sigma, because Sigma is like, to make Ninja Gaiden 2 work and be fair, they had to neuter it a bit, as opposed to like, keep the things that Itagaki wanted, except with better balance, and, actually play tested, because there's parts of that game that clearly weren't. If that game would exist, not only would I love the shit out of it, because fuck does Ninja Gaiden need to like be back in our lives, but more so, we'd be redoing Best of Gen, so I can re-add Ninja Gaiden 2 to like first place, and then Demon Souls can get cute little second or whatever. And then we can, knock World of Warcraft.
I'm pretty sure Metal Gear Revengeance would get...
I think Revengeance goes first.
Revengeance goes.
Not this discussion again.
Let's do it.
let's just retcon the best of gen list. Guys, listen. I kind of don't want Revengeance there. Let's like
considering
Chronicles.
I'm good with this.
Stupidest trade-off in human history.
Okay.
I'm good with this.
I think we have a majority
Never
support
forget.
this.
Make the trade. It's
Never
not
forget.
My fault.
I tried.
No one stopped me. Will, the fucking devil that he is, doesn't correct me. Will's like, no, yeah, I want that trade. I want this trade about this game we already cut that you're willing to throw your game.
My comment on the issue is,
going.
what the fuck are you doing?
I think that were Chris's literal words. Something about cutting his heart out right after that, I don't remember.
Bad.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I mean, if we're talking about remakes, the real remake that needs is probably, like, the best of Gen 7 list, because, like, Super Meat Boy lost to Super Mario Galaxy 2 again. Fucking Ben. Asshole.
I don't know.
Anyway,
It's a good game.
I think we got sidetracked on Kira's thing, but, like, to the Sphinx thing, like, that game suffered from being in the wrong era, because all of a sudden, that entire generation is Ratchet and Clank, Sly Cooper, Jack and Daxter, Nintendo's games, like fucking Mario Sunshine didn't do good, but you get the gist of it. Like, it was coming out of the N64 PS1 era to Vex was a game, I guess. I mean, you might as well mention Blinks while we're at it. Well, I mean, like,
it was a
Sphinx
crowded
sort of
field,
like,
is what I'm saying.
yeah, it was like Voodoo,
Vince.
what's the Xbox? Voodoo Vince, like, that's a game that was actually really good that just went, like, completely unnoticed because, like, I mean, why would I play this when the real franchises exist?
Yeah.
You know? Plus, like, half the people during that era were bullshit, because, like, Wind Waker, the people that were like, oh, Wind Waker's, like, as Jeff Gerstmann put it, were assholes. Has anyone heard his rant on that, by the way? He's so good, because, like, those people were assholes. I want mature Zelda. I want the blades to bleed. I love Jeff Gerstmann on a rant is the greatest thing in the world, even when he's disliking a game you like, because him hating Majora's Mask is so fun.
Dude is my hero.
That was pretty hilarious.
Because he's like, oh, you'll love this. He's like, it's a bag of shit that looks like The Legend of Zelda. Except you poke it a little bit and then, like, all the shit comes out and you go, oh, man, it stinks. His Yoshi's Island hate is so funny. And I love Yoshi's Island. Yoshi's Island is terrific. But,
okay.
Kira, keep going.
A remastering of Legend of Dragoon would be nice.
That game needs a full-on remake, babe.
Yeah.
Even if you remastered it, it would still look ugly.
Okay.
To be fair, like, I think PS1 JRPGs in general are probably in remake territory. Not just for looks, but, like, Final Fantasy IX has really long loading times.
Does it?
Like,
You could
really
fix that in a
long.
remaster, I hope.
I mean, I guess. But they're really long, though.
Why they were so long?
Like, Final Fantasy IX, it feels long to me now. Like, old man age has made me less patient for that.
Well,
I mean, as long as they don't replace it with cinematic walking. But,
unforgivable.
You know.
Unforgivable.
Ruined
Doggy
Bayonetta.
can never, in good conscience, review that game for Endless Backlog.
I would never go that far.
If I reviewed that game when we had scores, I would legally and, like, morally obligated due to ethics and integrity to give that game a 6 for having cinematic walking. The integrity of video games must be maintained. Why do you think Ben got to review The Last of Us?
I'd have to remake your review.
It's okay. Remaster it.
Yeah. Update the score a little bit.
Update it a little bit. We made some quality of life changes.
Yeah.
We threw out that 7-paragraph stretch on
Cinematic walking.
Yeah, and why it's the worst thing to happen to video games since E.T.
Since you
Never forget.
And the only thing that might be slightly as bad is when first-person games don't have legs and feet, because that's stupid.
Okay.
No, carry on though. Legend of Dragoon's a game that needs to be.
A lot of love.
So
a lot of
good.
love for that
We
game.
done.
I personally really like Ape Escape myself. Mostly because of fun gadgets that it had. You use the right analog stick to use your gadgets. You use the left stick to walk around. So they made it right when the analog sticks had come out on the controller for the PS1, because this was PS1 era. But it was a lot of fun. It was joyous. It could be hard as balls on occasion, but a lot of fun. It'd be nice to have something fun for a change. And a remaster of Parasite Eve, because I deserve an apology for third birthday.
Yeah.
I deserve. Oh my god.
Well, at the least,
Yeah.
they could make a more campy version of Third Birthday, and that would improve that game a lot. Cause like, if that game was like totally in on the joke, then it's the best thing ever. I mean, it would still play like shit, because apparently
Wouldn't happen.
It's a train wreck. It's such a train wreck. It's like,
it's disappointing though. Remember when like JRPGs were super cool and interesting, and like Vagrant Story existed and Parasite Eve, and like now if they get made, it's like either the Backstreet Boys on a road trip like Final Fantasy 15, or it's like
Tales.
typical fantasy stuff, or God forbid it's the Tales series. And I'm not saying that like Final Fantasy 15 doesn't look like a good game. It does, and I think Xenoblade looks like it's going to be fun too. I'm just saying like PS1 era's JRPGs had like a variety of settings.
It's gotten really niche, and like they've really drilled down to a particular audience.
But like even Final Fantasy at the time, because like Final Fantasy's setting was new.
Yeah.
Like it was different. Final Fantasy VIII, Will's favorite Final Fantasy, still had like a wildly different like aesthetic decision.
they had some
right.
They had
So,
a
like,
really
when
cool
they
world.
Yeah, like like I love Final Fantasy IX, and it happens to be the most in line with the worlds of Final Fantasy 4 and 6 and those games. But like, you know, like I also appreciated what 7 and 8 did with their settings, and Parasite Eve being about cops in JRPGs. Like that's just, you know, like part of the joy of Persona is that it's cool kids go through television to fight demons. Like, what a stupid ass setting, and it's awesome.
Indeed, sir.
Yeah.
Right, Chris? Chris must not be at the thing because he's not here to
Totally.
pimp out.
I
Yeah.
agree. I agree with everything you just said.
Do you know what I just
tell
said?
him.
No.
Don't tell him.
It was Persona.
Don't let him
related.
have this satisfaction. Leave him
absolutely.
wondering if you were positive.
I'll find out in a week. I'll find out.
He's
in
like,
a
I
week.
will listen to this hour and a half
He's
long
like, I'll find out in a
podcast
week.
just for that.
Yo, they need to remake Mercenaries 2 to make it good this time,
That'd be fun.
and not the steaming pile of shit that it was the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Or just remaster the first Mercenaries. That'd be cool with me. Make the explosions in HD. I'd dig it.
I want a remake of Advent Rising that makes the gameplay not the dog shit that it is.
It was a trilogy.
Your choices matter, and then they didn't make a sequel, so they really
I'm just
didn't
saying.
matter.
I'm just saying, if they remade it and made a good game, maybe people will buy it and then we'll get a sequel. Because part of the issue is that first Advent Rising actually isn't that good of a game.
Because Orsa's...
Yeah,
And
that's
it
not the
kind of
point.
deserves a remake because like, it had such cool ideas.
The title.
Maybe they can also remake Arcanum and like take out the parts where it's got some subtle anti-Semitic comments in that game, because the game's really cool, except
Wait,
that
what?
part's kind of disturbing. You never heard that story?
I never heard
man?
about this. No.
You've never heard about Arcanum. There's like these gnome characters, right? And a lot of their like, it's not super blatant, but like I didn't notice it the first 2 times I played through that game.
Mhm.
But then like I read about it, and then like I read their dialogue, and I'm like, oh. And I don't think it's intentionally anti-Semitic. I think maybe they were trying to like present that group of characters a certain way.
They're just like
And it just
greedy,
doesn't-
money hoarding gnomes.
Yeah. Like, go read that stuff on RPG Codex. It is
Huh.
a little disturbing, yeah.
I need to finish that
Yeah.
game.
Because it's like none of that shit is in Vampires. Like, I don't remember anything like that that would even fit that.
Yeah.
But like, there's something like in Arcanum, and I think Arcanum is I think Arcanum's the better of the two games, personally. Like, Arcanum's my favorite.
Arcanum's
Apparently, this is a game that I should play.
It's fantastic!
Right? Troika was
Oh,
so
Kira
good.
has it. Okay, cool.
Oh yes, I have it.
Does that game work for you really easily on your PC or not?
I haven't. I got a new PC that doesn't have it, so I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah, because, like, for my newer PC, I had to go find some I had to go find exe files to, like, make it work and launch and all that good stuff. See, this is why PC games, above all else, need remakes, because fucking Windows keeps ruining everything. And God forbid we ever move to, like, Linux gaming, and then, like, that's, like, all fucked.
God does forbid it.
Yeah, like, thank God Windows is still kicking ass, in spite of Microsoft. And their stupidity.
Bless their hearts.
I don't know. Chris already said his shitty game that needs a remake. Ben, there's gotta be a shitty game besides Bionic Commando.
Besides Bionic Commando.
It must be a game that you like, but like didn't think was good. Or that good.
Kira, would yours be?
For some reason, right now I'm thinking of Enter the Matrix. And I don't know why.
Was it?
That was a good... Yeah,
There was
that
a
was
real
a
missed
fun game.
opportunity there.
It was.
It was a missed opportunity, but it's still a fun game.
Wait. Yeah, wait. Let me humor this even further. That game and Oni.
I think
Terrible
Oni would be really cool,
But-
actually.
That style of game deserved to have a good game. Because I want, like... Because they're basically shooter games.
With
but
fighting elements.
With melee elements, and, like, the melee is the core of the action. The shooting is meant to, like, hold your distance a little bit. And then, like, that's what Devil's Third is hopefully going to be. And, like, delivers, because Itagaki's the man. But, like, if he fails... God, I hope
Dude,
not.
Shadow Warrior.
Then we're still 0 for 3
has swords
on that, and it's like, why the fuck has no one put it together yet? I was gonna say the closest example is like what Space Marine does, but it's not all the way. It's still fundamentally a shooter. Enter the Matrix and Oni were a little bit more like, you know, up front. Oni, I mean, like, part of the things you need to fix are just like, this is back when Bungie had like had to have been signing contracts that literally said, not only are we gonna keep doing our usual brand of bad level design, but we're going to make at least one level that is so astronomically terrible that you just go, who the fuck approved it? Because it always ended up in their games. And, like, the hilariousest fashion. The platforming in Oni.
Hilariousest?
Hilariousest. That's how
my
bad it
God,
was.
I just
That's
had
how
an
bad it was.
aneurysm.
That's how bad it was. Irregardless of your aneurysm.
Oh my God.
You mad? Anyway.
Jesus.
The point is, the one thing I still remember about that game all these years later is, because naturally after Halo PC, you go look for the other games Bungie did, because they had to be good. Lies. And that game's platforming segment was just one of those things where I just go like, why the fuck? And the worst part about that game is it had so many cool concepts. First of all, it was taking all of its, like, artistic decisions from Ghost in the Shell, which, at that time, I was into that type of stuff in Outlaw Star. So, anything that gave me that kind of vibe was cool. And nothing played like Oni, except for Enter the Matrix, but both of them didn't play well.
Mm-hmm.
So, one of those two games could be remade into a good game, and that would be cool.
They should remake Majora's Mask, I think. Nah, it's not the same.
Oh my god, if they do remaster Twilight
be on a
Princess and they
console.
put it on the 3DS,
A real
I'm gonna have an
console.
aneurysm.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I will
You know
have
what?
an
Yeah.
aneurysm.
They're gonna do it.
New 3DS exclusive.
Being a little loose with aneurysms today, guys. Like, come on.
I feel like Nintendo has a dartboard for good ideas, and then it lands on an idea. It says remaster Majora's Mask. And I'm
Right,
like, okay, and then they
excellent
move to the
idea,
bad
Kristen
ideas
Dunst,
dartboard, and
thank
they're
you.
like, where are we gonna put this on? Oh, the Nintendo 3DS. All right, and then they just roll with it.
I'm surprised Chris didn't switch it and like, oh, like the good idea board had make games for the 3DS. The bad idea was remake the
Majora's
Mask. What? How did you not take that joke?
It's a good job.
One of our
Good job.
beloved games.
Good job,
Oh, I
Goggin.
missed.
Yeah.
Killer 7.
Does not need a remake. Killer 7 just needs to be on a PC or a new platform that I can play it on.
Yes, remaster Killer 7.
Yes, because that game's so good. How about and I understand that I'm like new on the Mega Man needs to make a comeback bandwagon because I just played Mega Man X. It's kind of crazy that what was once Capcom's mascot can't make a comeback. Meanwhile, there's indie games biting Mega Man. Like, the game me and Ben loved the shit out of last year.
Shovel Knight
Takes a lot of cues from what Mega Man does.
Mighty Number 9.
Right. Mighty Number 9, Azura Striker Gunvolt, or whatever it's called, right? Like, how is it that Capcom can't find something to do with Mega Man? And, like, at least when they were doing Mega Man, what was it? 9 and 10? Right? Like, at least it was like, as Ego Raptor put it, like, oh, you care. And then, like, 10 came out and he said, it's like, great, there was already 9 of these games, though. How about you do something new, right? But then you just didn't do anything with it. Like, the Z series is apparently like this Metroidvania Mega Man
Zero games
that had a
were cool.
storyline, and apparently it ended on a major cliffhanger, and they've never gone back to that. There's people who really love Mega Man Legends. I didn't like Mega Man 64, but whatever. Apparently Legends 2 fixes a lot of things some people don't like about Mega Man 64, which is Legends 1. Which, whatever. I haven't played it. But, like, you can't do anything with that, and, like, Inafune, if I'm not mistaken, the Mega Man Legends series is his favorite take on Mega Man.
Yep.
So, like, he couldn't even get that shit greenlit or, like, get it to work, apparently.
It's not much more he could have done for that game.
I mean...
You got the
I'm just saying,
board
like...
and shit. You had the prototype
like,
ready to go. And Capcom just brought the axe down.
I'm just saying, like... Of, like, franchises that have died some miserable deaths, Mega Man's kind of gotten some mean
Poor
deaths.
Mega Man.
Blue Bomber deserves a better finish.
Not so mega now, is he?
Really, guy? Really? That's the route you wanted to go with that one? I don't know.
I feel like I'd make a good supervillain.
Yeah. Deep down, you do. You do. I'm trying to think of, like, a really shitty game from last gen that, like, really could have been a cool game besides Mercenaries 2.
Oh my god.
Like, game that was such, like, just deserved to have been done correctly. Like, what game had a lot of potential? We probably shouldn't have, like...
Haze, right, guys?
No, that one didn't... It'd be cool if Capcom got to make this the sequel to the previous Capcom episode, did anything with some of their franchises, like, how is it in a world where people appreciate Dark Souls, they can't bring back Maximo, they can't bring back Ghosts and Goblins, they can't bring back God Hand, they can't bring back... How is it that fucking Rise gets made, but somehow they couldn't do anything with Shadow of Rome, which was actually a really cool game.
Yeah, I like Shadow of Rome.
But that was a fun action game before everything became Batman combat. Soul Reaver.
Hey, you know, and then we're back to Power Stone.
Full
We're
circle.
back to Power Stone.
Life is, time is, oh my god.
Holy shit.
Oh!
Nothing was surprises here.
So
that
good.
Truck, wait, no,
So
no, that
good.
truck noise reminded me of something. The Aki wrestling games.
Huh?
WCW, NW Revenge,
Yeah.
WrestleMania 2000, No Mercy.
Let's
Like,
take it a step further.
Come on. What?
Those Def Jam games.
Yeah, dude,
Yes.
Def Jam, that is an
Oh,
icon.
Yes.
Fuck, I just remembered what needs to be ported over.
SSX? Like a real
Close,
one?
close. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4.
Yeah, it does. Tony
Except
Hawk.
this time, don't do that bullshit with Tony Hawk Pro Skater HD
I would love
where
to
you
see-
just ruin the original
Like-
Tony Hawk game because you tried to make it modern, except you forgot, like, why Tony Hawk worked the way it did. Like, it was arcadey. Like, put Spider-Man back in Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Put Darth Maul in Tony Hawk, because that was an awesome unlock.
That
Give
was
me
cool and
bullshit
unexpected.
grinds. Yeah. Fuck Tony Hawk. Remember how they ruined that series by adding racing segments with cars in
And
the Tony
story,
Hawk,
and like story elements.
and added the Jackass crew and Bam Margera for anything other than,
Yeah.
like,
Jackass.
skateboarding?
Yeah. Yo, there's this series that I want them to bring back. It's been out of the game for a while. Kingdom Hearts. I'm pretty excited.
What a niche choice.
You're
You're
getting your
sequel.
It's been fucking 10 years, and allegedly I'm getting a sequel.
It should be out by 2018.
Oh
We can
my
hope.
god.
I mean, yeah. At this point,
like-
you're the guy who's
Like,
like
some of the series you're talking about have had main installments later in time than Kingdom Hearts. Like, what the fuck?
I mean, you're saying this, but there's people. Then there's like the Last Guardian crowd who's saying, "Shut the fuck up, Chris."
No! Last Guardian was more recent than Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah, no, it got shown recent, but like at least Kingdom Hearts 3 looks like it's gonna happen finally. Whereas Last
what's wrong
Guardian is
with
like,
Birth by Sleep
no,
anyway?
guys,
We're still
Yeah.
working on it. We're totally working on it.
There's
Sure, you guys are.
Birth by Sleep solo sequel.
do it with games that need it.
I think what we can take away from like this whole remake remaster thing is like, stop doing with 360 and PS3 games. Like, do it where it's like interesting if you do it. Like, do it with games that would like suddenly like. I'll do the one for Phil. After Metal Gear Solid 5, if he's ever gonna do more Metal Gear, and it's not Metal Gear Rising 2, which is clearly the sequel that needs to be made, because best Metal Gear, is take Metal Gear 1 and 2 and redo them to fit into the Metal Gear Solid lore. Right? Because, like, I want a 3D version of that fight between you and Gray Fox in that landmine field.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Right, Truck?
That Truck is all about it. He just came back. to
It's-
talk about
it's-
Metal
He's
Gear.
like, oh
It's too
shit,
important.
guys, I heard that Metal Gear talk.
Like at this point, I'm not even gonna like erase the background noise from Ben's computer because like it's
impossible.
become
You
an
can't-
integral part of this podcast.
The
But-
I mean, that is
valid-
kind
Good
of...
job.
Well,
Yeah.
the truck knows what's talking about.
Oh my god. Good job, guys. We had a whole podcast talking about Final Fantasy VII.
Yay!
You're an asshole.
I mean, I'd
You're
love-
an
I'm
asshole.
of
Oh,
two
wait,
minds
shit.
about
What have
FF7.
you
Oh,
done?
So, like,
man.
let me get it out of the
Who
way
did
so we can
that?
just get it over with now that Chris has brought it up. So, like, on the one hand, I really like FF7.
too obvious,
I
man.
think that would be a cool game to play, like, remaster.
It was
On
brought
the
up
other
before.
hand, that game has some really
brought
bizarre
it up.
tonal elements, and, like, a lot of the jokes, like Cloud being a cross-dresser, for instance, probably don't work with legitimate graphics. So, like, on the one hand, it's like, man, it would be really fucking cool if they remade FF7. On the other hand, it's like, man, they should never fucking touch that game.
I mean, come on. Some of it would just be like the Mount Pious crowd getting annoyed. Like, what would you do? You dress them up like a chick, right? Like, really put some... Yeah, you'd put some rouge on him and stuff. And it would be a funny sequence.
I
because,
think
like,
Barrett is a little bit more problematic.
Yeah.
yeah, Barrett's more problematic. Like, the real issue with Final Fantasy VII is once you give everyone voice acting, there's no hiding the fact that Final Fantasy was, and always has had bad writing and
Yep.
hilariously stupid plots.
Oh yeah.
Where
oh, yeah.
when you were reading them, it was a total non-issue. But once you start hearing it, which is where Final Fantasy X gets all the blame for some reason for having a dumb story, and it's like, you guys do know, like, one of the previous games was like, he suplexed a train.
You don't have to suplex the train.
Like
Why would
the super
don't
badass
know.
of this genre with One Winged Angel for a theme song is the biggest mama's boy since fucking, I don't know.
Norman Bates?
On the other hand,
Norman Bates.
We're of
Yes,
like mind
nice.
today, Goggin.
Nice.
Like,
Yeah.
yes. So it's like that's where like the rose tinted glasses would fall off. But like, you know, I mean, if you rework the script and like the materia system was like updated and given new wrinkles, like Final Fantasy VII will probably still be a fun-ish game. But like, you'd have to remake it. I feel like.
No, man, you just
'Cause,
gotta
like-
port it to the PS4. What are you saying?
I mean, whatever. They're already doing that. But like, if you're gonna redo it, you wouldn't remaster at this point. You would do ground up wholesale changes. Like, Resident Evil 1 proper is dumb. Resident Evil Remake, the singular plot of that game, still hokey.
I don't respect
but,
Resident
the
Evil.
tone of that game became more serious and earned, right? Suddenly you can respect Resident Evil Remake a little bit more, whereas Resident Evil 1, you love it, but you don't respect it.
The master of unlocking.
Yeah.
See, I would I would argue that that's endearing, and I would also argue that FF10's writing isn't actually that bad. I think it's actually pretty good for their character moments, but
easy there, Tiger. Good.
I think a large portion of
it has moments. It has moments, but I think fundamental script, start to finish, some of those dialogue exchanges are come on.
I mean, some of them are, but that's with them trying to keep with the lip syncing.
But and in general, it's a motherfucking space whale.
What's wrong with space whales, man?
Made
If
of
they
water.
put Moby Dick in space, it would be fucking amazing.
I'm pretty sure they did. It was an anime, right,
Bro,
Ben?
I played Xenosaga and they
Right.
actually had legitimate
Yeah,
space
there
whales.
is.
It was fucking stupid.
Wait. There's an anime that's Space Moby Dick? Because I need to watch this. What is
There's
it?
an anime that's Space Moby Dick.
I knew there was. I knew it.
And now Ben, you have to tell me what this is so I can watch it.
I'm gonna give you a title.
Yeah.
Hakuge,
First it's
Legend
gonna-
of the Moby Dick.
Legend of the Moby. Oh
Yes!
Oh my god.
I knew it. I
Okay,
knew
first
it.
of all,
That is Hakuge.
now that she says there's a playable segment in Xenoblade
No.
with space whales, I
Xenosaga.
suddenly want to get what?
Xenosaga.
Xenosaga has a
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
played that
God,
part.
it's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
dumb.
Never mind. Xenosaga was dumb.
It was so
I can't. Legend of the Moby Dick. Oh my god. I can't believe this is a thing. I must have it.
It's out there. You
Oh
just have
god,
to
it's
hunt
on
it down.
YouTube. Well,
I think we can all agree, at the least, Mother 3 can finally come to this country. Oh, Fatal Frame could be localized. Fucking Nintendo. Dicks.
oh yeah, Fatal Frame 5. Yeah.
Dicks.
I mean, the thing is that I agree we don't really want PS3 360 remasters too much, but the reason they're
They
being
sell.
made is that they sell okay and they're really, really cheap to make. And the older the game is, the
Yeah.
more work they have to do to make it be acceptable, to update it properly.
Guys,
And then
listen,
they're missing the point
listen.
for the companies.
No, time out. You know that guy everyone
I'm just
loves,
sad.
that please be excited guy that works for Square
Yes.
that's now trolled everyone's advice.
Yeah.
I want him
Legend.
to come out after this big hype Square announcement, only for it to be Final Fantasy 13 for Xbox
Oh.
One and PS.
The
Oh,
Lightning
yeah, that'd be
Collection.
Like
That'd be
that
amazing.
would be my favorite highlight, because the rage that would come from everyone going, you had all these other Square games you could have made, but you picked the worst ones for
They're
it
perfectly
over.
suited to do
Would
it now
be-
because there's the PC ports of the whole trilogy.
Yep.
So it's the same thing.
Yeah.
The Legend returns.
Also Freedom Force, because that's one of the coolest games Irrational made.
Also, Resident Evil Outbreak deserves some love with voice chat.
Actually,
Resident
that'd
Evil
be
Outbreak
interesting.
needs to. Oh
That'd be
my
interesting.
god! Can we?
Yeah.
Time out. Has anyone seen footage of Resident Evil Revelations 2
No.
today?
No.
That game, Master Shake made a thread on our forum on it, and it is. He called it the direct-to-video sequel to The Last of Us, and that's exactly what it is.
Ha!
Like Resident Evil 6.
That's
Resident Evil-
hilarious.
Resident Evil 5 and 6 already ruined Jill Valentine, Leon S. Kennedy. The one bastion of excellence we still had left was Barry, and he is so lame. I want a remake of Resident Evil Revelations 2.
How about you just remake all of Resident Evil except for?
I'm also not against that. Or just let it die its painful
Yeah,
death
just
that it
let it.
deserves.
It's already dead.
Please just kill it, because they're entering
Let
Sonic
it die
territory.
with dignity.
It lost dignity a while ago. Resident Evil 6
At this
was death
point,
of
it's
that
one of those
dignity.
take it out behind the shed and do what needs to be done situations.
Dead things.
If it went
stay
out
dead.
on, if it went out on Resident Evil 5, that's not like the best game or anything to go out on, but like at least it's somewhat respectable as a video game. Resident Evil 6 is like
The worst part, that game sold 7 million copies.
Yep.
7 million.
Binary Domain didn't sell like a third
Neither
of
did
that,
Dragon's
a
Dogma,
quarter
which
of
is a
that.
good game that Capcom made.
Neither did like Vanquish and like all these other cool
7
games.
million copies.
I'm not part of that statistic. I bought it when it was like super fucking cheap.
How does that not make you a part of that statistic?
I'm not part of that
I
statistic.
can't believe.
I
Pretty
also
sure.
did not buy 2 copies because me and El Joseph were playing that game and we thought we'd make it to the end and not go, oh my god, this is the
You guys
shittiest
need to
game ever
finish it.
made. We're not playing this. Oh my god, it's so bad, William!
You need to finish it.
It's like, you don't understand. If you... No. You
I've
need to go
played the
find
demo.
a demo of that game. Oh.
It is, but
It's
you
so
guys
bad,
have to
though.
finish it now. Endless Backlog has to finish it.
Like, Chris didn't even play the game. He was just watching us play and he just went...
It was
That
bad.
was... Like, he could just sense the janky
Chris could tell it was
from,
bad
like,
just by looking at
watching
the
it.
review score.
It-
Like, did not meet my Metacritic standards. This is terrible.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it didn't even come close to my Metacritic standard.
That's true. We should wrap it
Yeah.
up, though. I think at this point, we've said our piece on games.
Yep.
Good game.
Good job,
Please
guys.
please bring Metal Wolf Chaos to this country. Remake cool things. Stop. Like, do enough of the 360 PS3, but like, come on. Let's find a way to put those older games on newer devices.
Yes, please.
In a
Also,
playable
From
state.
Software, remake Armored Core 3, please, with modern controls, because holy shit, that game is amazing. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Beyond that,
Okay.
I don't know. I'm excited for 2015.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the new stuff too,
Mhm.
you know? Like, we got Metal Gear Solid 5. Hopefully that... I'm sorry. I said hopefully. That's gonna kick ass. Bloodborne looks dope. Arkham Knight.
Is that our next podcast? What we're excited for in 2015?
I mean, we'd
think
be
that's the
doing
one
it,
we should
like,
do.
in March. So,
Like, right before all the big releases in March, though. So,
yeah,
like...
we take the big breath,
Yeah.
collect ourselves, and then we take the plunge.
Plus, we can do the whole thing where one of us is gonna be like, that Batmobile looks really stupid. And it's like, guys, it's so Rocksteady doing Batman. It's
Yeah.
gonna be really good.
Well, plus we'll have that podcast where we can look back in a year and be like, wow, remember when we were...
remember when we were hyped for
Yeah.
that game? Remember that?
Remember when
Oh,
we were
man.
wide-eyed? Yeah.
Mistakes.
Oh my god.
What
Yeah,
a
you know,
fucking mistake.
I remember that because it was there was like a film union on GameSpot, and it was me and this Robbie kid like hyped up Public Enemies, the movie. And then someone bumped that thread like a year later, and we both, and I mean like both at the same time, posted no planning on this, just it happened at the same time, just like quoted what we wrote and just said, I can't believe I was this wrong about something.
You were so disappointed in that movie.
I was so excited for it. It was
You were
such
crushed.
a
You know, I
cool,
actually like that movie, so I'm good with it.
it was because you have this movie about this famous bank robber, except like a train robber, and he's like not robbing trains, and then like just like I at that time I wasn't super into like understanding film language. Like Mr. Trey would like dissect a fucking scene for you and tell you why the camera angle was
John
really
Dillinger
shitty.
robbed banks. He did
Yeah.
not rob trains. I don't know who you're thinking of.
Alright, whatever. The point is he should have robbed things. And he didn't rob enough things. And what I'm trying to say is like, as someone who does that at that time wasn't super into that shit, like
wasn't.
just whatever. Wasn't into like judging things on like, oh, the cinematography, because I was like, that's just a word to me at that time.
Right.
Like, even I knew, like, yo, the transitions between these scenes make no sense. Half the time they're just jumping around with no sense or flow. It's like they just edited things for the sake of it.
It was bad.
I like that movie.
Like, that movie was so disappointing.
I don't remember it being that bad. Maybe I need to
It
give
was
it
fucking
another
boring.
watch with beer. See what I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just like
yeah.
this podcast.
I was just super excited, and the whole fucking time when I came back, like, mad, Mackie was trolling me, going, "Oh, Michael Mann, he's a crap."
My bus is here, guys. I gotta go.
Even that.
See you later.
That bus is like,
Yeah,
alright, wrap it up, guys. Wrap it up.
Bye, guys.
Alright, please subscribe to us on iTunes and Stitcher. Also subscribe to us on YouTube and Metro.com, where you can buy tickets for your bus and subway station.
Look, it's gonna leave soon. You gotta wrap this up.
Clearly. Like, what are they, vacuuming? Is there a game you wanted to be remade and reported? Please, tell us about it. We're out. Wait.
Wait,
Tom
like 10
Towers?
minutes now.
Fuck you, buddy. Fuck you. Also, you guys should probably read his reviews on Dying Light and Life is Strange, because those are neat little write-ups. He's somewhat optimistic about Life is Strange, which I don't get, because I'm like, man, that game has such cool ideas. They're totally gonna fuck it up.
Peace.
Anyway, I'm out. Peace.
Good night.